Anyway, yeah. So I wanted to go over some things Sargon of Akkad said recently, or the other day.
Hi folks, before we begin, we of course have a live event on the 11th of April. It's going to be great. I'll leave a link in the description.
Oh, shit.
So, I saw this video from apparently 50 years ago by the BBC. So this would be in the 1970s. And it's people talking about women's liberation and the feminist movement, but it was often just called women's lib back then. And it's interesting how people like the same political sort of zeitgeist is present. And you can see when, for example, this particular woman saying, no, I'm not in favour of it, actually. You can see that the liberal elite are completely in consensus on this. And actually she's like, well, you know what? I don't think that. So we'll watch this and just have a watch through it and talk about it as we go, because it's genuinely fascinating to me.
I don't think it's right for a woman to work and for a man to stay at home.
You don't think it's right?
I don't believe in women's lib.
Why not?
Look at the way she said that. I don't believe in women's lib, as if she's expecting to get chewed out for saying that. But that was actually a normal opinion. When you can look at the opinion polls from the time and see that that's a completely normal opinion, that most women didn't. And she now has to sort of act, well, I know you're going to be upset by this, but I don't think that actually women should be working and the man should be staying at home. Call me crazy.
I don't believe in women's lib because from sheer biology, a woman has babies and a woman has to look after a house. I mean, it's more or less impossible for a man to do that.
I mean, totally reasonable. It's a totally reasonable position, yeah. Someone has to look after the kids, someone should work, and because I'm having the kids, maybe I should be the one who looks after them at home. I mean, this chap, again, very reasonable people, just giving very reasonable opinions.
Later on in the video, he goes on to say that it was only a minor or minority of women who wanted this, or even a minority of men. He said it was like 10-20%. Now, I've heard it said in the Zeitgeist documentary, the Zeitgeist Addendum, I believe, 10% of people is all you really need to start like a movement to make a change, to make a societal change. Because the idea at that point the idea has spread wide enough to where the spread will start to reach more than that 10%, if that makes any sense. So the idea of women earning the income and men staying at home should be it's obviously ridiculous and should be rejected outright. But for some reason, here we are, fourth wave feminism, and we're still now we're in a position where both the man and the woman has to earn the income, otherwise you can't have a stable home, not one that you can raise a family in anyway, and we're just kind of stuck, man. And so there has to be some kind of drastic change to where we have to take back our freedom by allowing by forcing the government or something to allow us to change the economy in such a way that we can afford to have a single income household again, so that we can actually prosper again as a society. We've gone too far away from the biblical societal structure that we were founded upon, and it's made life far too challenging. I mean, like, this goes into deeper stuff, like stuff that Homath talks about. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I'll definitely do some reactions to this. I'll probably have to go through some of his older content because he hasn't released anything new for a while. Well, he has, but nothing. It's not based on stuff that I want to talk about yet. So but yeah, like, what was I gonna say? Women have essentially voted so far into their own interests that and their desire through feminism has psyoped them into voting against men's interest. to benefit themselves. So now, rather than allow a man to take care of them, they rather have the state take care of them. That's who they're married to. And then so while they're off gallivanting around through sexual liberation, having, going through their 20s and even sometimes into their 30s, having sex with whoever they can find is willing to give them a dick. I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm gonna use language. I'm not gonna be censored by anybody. Who's willing to give them the dick? Then they finally come to realize, oh, you know what? Now that I have my career in place and I'm 35, now I want to get married and have kids. Well, it's too freaking late. Where are your eggs? Where are your eggs? They're gone. You've been bleeding out once a month every freaking year, and now you're 35. Your eggs are gone. You can't have kids. It's too late. And so you're rushed into a relationship with a guy that you if you're lucky enough to find one, because of course the hypergamous nature of women, they refuse to mate with somebody they view as below them in status or wealth. So like, how are you supposed to find someone who wants you for you when you're already at an age where it's like, no, your beauty is mostly gone. We men don't give a shit about your wealth. We don't care about how well you've done for yourself. We really don't. You're screwed. And basically, because of this scenario, society is falling apart. And the government's grand idea is, oh, let's allow immigrants to come in, and the third worlders that come in, they don't view things the way we do. So of course, as more of them come in, they don't assimilate, they don't change the way they act. And so what happens? Our country becomes a third world country because we're importing more and more people who don't belong here. They just don't belong here. And it's not like I'm trying to be racist to say that. Like, I'm not trying to be racist to say that. I don't have hate in my heart for people who have different values, different opinions, whatever. What I do hate is the degradation of our society that's happening because of the policies and people that are being allowed to come in here and make the changes that are making this place worse. That's what I hate. So I want it to stop. I want it to be completely reversed. And unfortunately, yes, that does in fact mean denaturalizing and deporting anyone who doesn't agree with our values here. I don't care. They have to go. Anyway, moving on.
I think that a woman's place really is in the home, and the man should go out and earn his keep and look after his wife, really.
Look, just again, what I love about this is the intrinsic sort of goodness of the society, in that it assumes that this isn't for you, right? It's like, no, you've got to look after your wife. And later on, there's a woman who's like, well, I've got to look after the children. And so it's all this big circle of people looking out for one another. And so they're thinking of the relationships that they have with each other. It's like, well, I have to work to make sure my wife is kept. And my wife needs to be kept to make sure the children are kept. And that way we can all be happy, healthy, and prosperous. And
it's a beautiful cyclical scenario in which, when everything else in your life is taken care of, when you're satisfied with the way things are in your life, you're not only just able to help yourself and your family, you're also able to extend that help to other people. And because the reason why society's fallen apart to such a degree, to such an extent that it has, is because not only are we not able to create that life that we want for ourselves, to reach that prosperous life that we want for ourselves, we cannot, of course, by extension, help other people outside of that. Does that make sense? Like, I would love to be someone who donates money to charities for causes that I believe in. Do I have that kind of wealth to do that? No, I don't. Unfortunately not. Why? Because I unfortunately, through circumstance and obviously, lack of guidance and bad choices that I've made in my life, have not been able to reach that point at middle age. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But like I say, I would love to be that kind of person, but I unfortunately can't be. I unfortunately cannot be that person because I just don't have the money. Like, I'm scrimping and saving just to get a 2K PC, a tower. It's ridiculous. I shouldn't have to do that. But that's the way things have happened, unfortunately. What else? Yeah, the cyclical, harmonious relationships, like, will naturally just spread out like ripples and waves. Like, it's the more one does, the reason why people say, hey, you know what, take care of yourself first, because then you can take care of other people. Because what that does is it creates a ripple effect in which, okay, that person is doing so well for themselves, they're really killing it in life. Now they can help not just their family, they can now help their extended family. Oh, now they're killing it so much, they can not only just help their extended family, they can help other people around them who are strangers. And so, if we all, as a society, focus on ourselves first, make sure that we can handle everything that, is good in life, and stop being narcissistic with our choices, stop being selfish with our choices. I mean, well, look, selfish is the wrong word. You have to be selfish first before you can be altruistic. But if we as a society stop being narcissistic with our choices, and instead think about how we can better ourselves enough to the point that we can start giving back to others, we can see a marked increase in not just harmoniousness in society, but also happiness overall, as a town, as a city, as a country, as a state, as a country, we can then get to a point like, oh, this other country had a natural disaster, we can help them out. Like, we already do stuff like that. We've already had done stuff like that in the past, and that's nice and all. But like, it's come at the cost of the government deciding what causes to use our tax dollars for, and how much is being used on that particular cause. And we should not hand the government that kind of power. It should be on an individual basis in which we make those choices. So yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Doing it for each other, right? We're not doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for someone else. And that's really interesting, because that's the complete antithesis of the women's lib movement. It was all me, me, me. In fact, I was looking through some of the propaganda posters. Let me grab one. Look at this fascinating propaganda poster. Political help, votes for women, and the woman's Mrs. John Bull is saying, "Now you greedy boys, I shall not give you any more until I have helped myself." Well, what are you talking about? Like, votes for women isn't like something women are being deprived of. This is something actually that most women weren't really for. And there was a whole movement against women's suffrage, by the way. There was the anti-suffrage movement that was founded by, where's her name? Mary Augusta Ward, otherwise known as Mrs. Humphrey Ward. She founded the Women's National Anti-Suffrage League. This had like 50,000 members and was a political force in her day. And so it's just really interesting how, like, the people who are thinking about society itself and what's actually good for society were like, yeah, no, I don't want this, because obviously I don't want to separate. And no, look at the framing. It's the woman essentially denying the children, and denying therefore the family, and denying therefore her part in the great chain of being and in society itself. And the people against it are like, well, I'm thinking of the people around me. I'm not really thinking of myself.
What would happen if it came to a clash between your careers, her interests and yours, career-wise?
I would retire gracefully.
Ah, would you? Would you? You're an upstanding liberal man, are you?
Would you be willing to look after the home and the children while she went out and earned the income?
Not that gracefully, I didn't.
I mean, yeah. What a great response, very genteel response. But isn't that very interesting? Well, I'm going to pay lip service to all of this until I...
Lip service. This is one of the reasons why the idea spreads so far, because there are people like this guy who, rather than just being honest with whoever is asking the question and himself, he pays lip service to it and says, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll do it." But then when it comes down to actually having to do it, no, it's a problem. I don't actually want to do that. You see it all the time. It's you see these Karens. Hey, I believe in open borders. Okay, will you allow immigrants to stay in your home? Oh no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't have the space really. It's not a good time for me right now. Yeah. As soon as you have to live under the consequences of your freaking policies, now it's a problem. Now you can't really do it. Now it's not. Now it's a bad idea. Yeah. Stop it. Just stop it. To actually think about what you're saying before you say it. Like, have some freaking thought. Have some freaking critical thinking, please. For the love of God, bring back critical thinking. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah.
Actually, it's like, well, I'm going to pay lip service to all of this until it actually is something I have to do, and then I'm obviously not going to do that, because nobody saw this as essentially like overthrowing civilization. People obviously didn't think it was going to be about overthrowing civilization. In fact, we have all of these wonderful polls from the time, right? So yeah, the polls from the time are really, really interesting, because when you ask, like, well, should women have equal rights, as in, should they be oppressed or something? Everyone's like, no. Should they get the same pay for the same work? And both men and women are like, well, yeah. Should they be? Are you against workplace sexual harassment? Yes. And all these sort of things. So it's like fairly reasonable things. People are like, yeah, I'm for that. But when it's like, okay, well, do you support like an active, organized campaign against the status quo and men themselves? Well, most people aren't in favor of that, including women. So when it comes to trans the woman's movement here, right, as in, what do you think women deserve to get? And most people think, well, individual training versus women organising. The best way to handle problems of discrimination is for each woman to make sure she gets the best possible training for what she wants to do, or only if women organise and work together can anything really be done about discrimination. So which one of those do you stand on? Well, 76% of women said individual effort and 20% said organise. So that is the malcontented 20% feminist bloc that wants to overthrow the patriarchy and society generally. And even in 1989, 60% of women nearly were like, yeah, well, individual effort. And of course, 3/4 of men, in fact, more women back in 1972 than men, viewed this as an individual effort. So you can see, like, people like, yeah, okay, I want women to be treated fairly, obviously, but I actually don't really want women to just, like, organise and destroy society. Weirdly enough, I don't think that actually the men need to be overthrown as the breadwinners and things like that. But if an individual woman happens to be good at something, wants to get a job doing something, and make a career out of it, well then, fair enough. Like, good luck to her. When women are asked, like, do you feel close to feminists? In 1984, only 19% said yes, and 77% said no.
Now, I don't know if you understand what we're seeing here. We're actually seeing a marked decline amongst people that believe that feminism is a good thing and we should definitely follow it or what have you. So they inject the idea of feminism into society. It takes off for a little bit, well enough to spread enough to at least 10 to 20%. Then it drops off, and then we get it again later on. Like we just keep getting pushed and prodded away from moral values, from good, heartfelt ways of living, and instead have become more narcissistic to the point where everyone just cares about themselves. No one gives a crap about the future. It's more prevalent in societies like the black community in our country. I don't know if that's true for other countries, but actually, yes, I do. There's you hear it about I've watched a leaflet video recently where how the story go? The Japanese went to the community of black people that they had living in their country, gave them like a bunch of vegetables and stuff like that, so that they can grow the vegetables themselves, and develop their own area so that they can take care of themselves. And they were grateful for the help. What do they end up doing? They just ate all the food. They didn't try to develop anything. They just ate all the food. And then when the Japanese came back to that area, they asked for more food. This is what happens. Like there's no desire to put in effort to make your life better, and then you wonder why your life's not better. And instead of actually making the effort, you want to steal from people who actually do make the effort and say, "Oh, I want reparations because of some way you treated me. My ancestors were treated 400 years ago." Like, bitch, you're the reason. Your ancestors are the reason why your ancestors were like. We're not the ones who caused that for you. Your ancestors did. We're not gonna pay you reparations for something that your ancestors did to you. Like whatever. It's just stupid. It's freaking stupid. And I hate that it's still a conversation that we're even having. Like, it shouldn't be entertained anymore at this point. Like, oh, you want free money? How about no? You freaking leech. You freaking parasite. How about no?
Obviously, 90% of men were like, no. Because you've clearly just had this sort of like fifth of the female population that's just been really unhappy with men. Now, I'm not saying that these women didn't have a reason, right? It's entirely possible that they've been on the receiving end of bad treatment or something like that. So, sure, or they're very ideological or whatever it is. But the point is, feminists just didn't really represent what people actually wanted. They just used equal rights for women and votes for women as a kind of wedge issue to cleave open the thing. But what's really interesting is how this just goes down over the years. By 1996, only 14% of women are like, I feel close to the feminist movement or whatever. And it's like, all right, that's interesting. It's interesting. 86% of women are just like, no. That's just really fascinating, isn't it? Because it's clear that this was something else. It wasn't really just about women. Anyway, let's go back to this.
No, I'm old-fashioned, you see, naturally, and I think a woman's place is in the home looking after her children.
I think
Again, she has obligations to other people. It's not just about herself. It's not just about you. It's about the obligations you have to other people.
The man should be doing the actual work. I think the place for a woman is in the home. Of course, I'd like the wife to do some part-time work, but it's very limited, and everything has to revolve around the children. Children come first, and that's about it, really.
The children come first. And so her concern is the children, his concern is her, and you can see how this is a series of loving relationships that make people happy. And you've got the sort of 20% malcontent feminists who are like seething that someone else, like literally like the Denethor meme, seething at these happy families and being like, well, we have to ruin this.
I agree, basically. I mean, I wouldn't like to leave him for anybody else to bring up. I don't think that's right. But I enjoy doing my part-time work, and I think once he's at nursery school, I'll go back out and do more part-time. I'll always be at home whenever he's at home.
Well, I just don't like the idea at all. Do you think...
I like this woman a lot. You can tell she's had to talk about this, and she's very confident in herself.
That it is wrong for women to go out and earn the money and for men to stay at home and look after the family?
Yes, definitely. It's bad for his ego.
Isn't that a fascinating thing to say? It's bad for his ego, as in, I care about...
Like, look. Personally, I've had such a struggle in my life, and I'm at a age, so at this point, if a woman who made more than me financially were willing and able and desire to be with me despite that, I'd probably take her up on it. Yeah, would I take that time that she's providing for me to earn an income that surpasses hers if I can? Yes, I would. But would I have an issue with choosing to be with that woman who wanted to be with me? No, just because of again circumstances and how things have turned out in my life. But if we know that's not going to happen because it's not how women are. It's just not how women are. And but I gotta say it's not something that I have thought about. Like would I have a problem with it? Not so much, no, because again I would take the time that she provided for me as like being a stay-at-home person to do what I'm doing now, like create content or what have you. So just something that I can do. Maybe produce a video game, or something like that. Just to give it a try, and do something that creates value and brings money that could potentially, inevitably, maybe perhaps surpass her income. But that's just, it's just not gonna happen. It's not a realistic thing to want in life, just because we know women's nature.
About my husband, I care about his well-being, and I don't actually want to be ultra selfish about this. Not only is it bad for the kids, it's bad for my husband. Why would I want to do that? And again, I love this woman. She's just like, I've thought this out. I know exactly why, and you're a bad person.
You shouldn't. They get too domineering. You give them too much money.
What do you mean they get too domineering?
Well, if they had more money than you've got, then they tell you what to do.
And do you always tell your wife what to do?
Nah, look at that.
Shouldn't he? Or no, should he even have to is the question. She should just know, naturally, yeah, we're married. I'm going to work to take care of you, therefore, that's my half of the bargain, or whatever, that's my 100%. I go to work, I make sure that we have a house, I make sure that we have food, and it's your job to make sure that the house is clean, and that there's food to eat when I get home. Is that really too much to ask? I really don't think so. I really don't think so. And not only that, like, yeah, if I feel the need for some, consensual healing, if that makes sense, if you follow my drift, catch my drift, then yeah, do me the favor and open up. Anyway, that's what I have to say about that.
Do you always tell what your wife what to do then, as if this is the frame to validate all of the feminist propaganda? Oh yeah, men evil and controlling. Look at his response.
What to do?
No, I don't. We go halfway.
But he knows he's being pushed here, right? Oh, hang on. I see what you're trying to do.
But I earn more money than she does, so someone must earn the money. And it should be the man who earns the money.
Totally reasonable. Shared by almost all of society at the time. And yet, here we are, like 50 years on.
Now, should men be made to stay at home at night in order to keep women safe?
How do we get here? How do we get to this? We should have votes for women. Maybe women should have equal rights to men. Maybe men should be stay-at-home husbands. Suddenly, couldn't we have a nightly curfew for men? That 20% not on, is it? The 80% on the other side, they're the people who should be really listened to here, shouldn't they? So, I mean, let's be honest. Like, this has just become demented. I mean, look at this as well. This is just mad.
I've given our boys dolls.
This is Gavin Newsom's wife.
Even if they tear the head off, I've given them dolls to learn that care and caregiving is not just an activity that's reserved for women, but that it's also an activity that is a responsibility of men.
Mental, right? As if men don't love their kids, but trying to literally brainwash your sons into essentially being women, which is just cruel. It's just a horrible thing. It's just demented.
What I've done with both.
I think personally that that's child abuse. Why are you psyoping your children into believing that they need to play with dolls? Like, it's just weird, man. It's irresponsible. It's ungodly. I hate it. I hate it. And the fact, like, this woman's husband is definitely going to jail, hopefully. If justice is to be served in this country, Gavin Newsom is not going to stay free if justice is to be served. Yeah, this woman's atrocious. She's a terrible mother.
My daughters and my sons is, if I'm reading a book and the protagonist is a male, I just change the he to a she.
Part of that 20% that's like, no, we have to destroy the families. We have to destroy society. I mean, this is Gavin Newsom's wife. How can he be happy that she's doing this to his sons? How can he be happy about that?
And it just normalizes for my sons in particular. I don't even just do it for my girls. I do it for my sons because I want them to see that women can be the center of a story.
If it's a story about supporting a man, yes, agreed. But I don't see why it makes any sense at all to usurp the man's role and then make that person the center. Like, I can't remember if it was either Leaflet or what's her name, Smugglana, that said it. Like, how you say, these Marvel heroes that we've had, a lot of them, they're just reskinned men. Like we have what do you call it? To bring up the Endgame, Marvel's the last good movie that came out of the cinematic universe, Marvel's Endgame. We had a female Iron Man, essentially Pepper Potts in the Iron Man costume. We had what do you call it? It wasn't in that movie, but they basically replaced what's his name, T'Challa, with his sister to be the name of the hero. I forget. You know what I'm saying? The Black Cat dude, Black Panther. We have Ironheart. We have what's her name? The one that could fly and was like basically like Superman except for like energy powers too. Ms. Marvel. She was called Ms. Marvel, then her name got changed to something else. Captain Marvel? Yeah, Captain Marvel. But anyway, you get the point. These women are just men. Like they don't act like females. Like there's definitely room for stories in which a female, which acts feminine and does feminine things, could be a lead. But like, it doesn't make sense to simply take a man's role and put a woman in there. And just stop it. Can we just get back to reality? Can we all just focus on something that makes sense collectively? Please, just please.
But this isn't all about you, right? It was actually about helping each other. You're meant to be, I mean, maybe she's got nannies and stuff, so this isn't a problem for her. But this is mad, isn't it? Just what a deeply selfish movement this is.
That women matter. That
no one says women don't matter. Men literally, all of the reason they were like, yeah, well, I should be doing the work so she can take care of the kids and so I can look after her. Like the entire message was, I can look after her. How much more mattering can you get? And that's pretty deep in the heart of we matter, isn't it? When literally the men are like, okay, well, I have to take care of my wife. Like, so I don't know. That's why I do everything I do. Like, what else could? Like, what else am I supposed to think?
And it's like women. Sometimes men treat women so well, and they don't appreciate it. It's ridiculous. Hold on, let me bring this up. Let me just go ahead and bring this up real quick. A short that I saw earlier yesterday too, from Smugglana.
I've been divorced now almost 4 years, but I was married to my ex-husband 16 years and with him 18 years. And again, I was a selfish bitch. Nothing was ever good enough. I took him for granted. He seriously rolled out the red carpet for me. He was sweet, kind, generous. He told me how much he loved me 5 times a day. He told me how beautiful I was every day. If he'd wake me up in the morning, because he knows I love massages, wake me up rubbing my shoulders.
Wake you up rubbing your shoulders. What?
He'd rub my feet every evening while we were watching TV.
What?
If I said, for example,
super AI. My chat is spamming that it's AI.
Dr. Pepper, he'd be like, okay, let me go to the corner store and get it.
No, he would just plumb up and go to get you a drinky drink. Crazy lady. I don't think she's being crazy. I just think she's just like, damn, I pissed it away.
adored me. He was amazing. Like on paper, it's what every girl wants. Seriously. And
wow.
Yeah, I took it for granted.
I wonder if he changed, like after the divorce, because she said that they divorced, right?
And now I lost that, right? And I carried a lot of guilt because I caused it. That's my biggest regret in life, is not saving, the whole family aspect. The grass is not always greener on the other side, ladies. It's not,
Oh my God.
I'm good now. I feel great. And he's super happy with his girlfriend. And honestly, I could not be happier for him because he deserved to be loved. And
yeah, this is an AI because she's doing the bird hands. Yeah.
cared about and respected as he should have always been. So I'm so happy that he's happy. Anyways, what I'm saying, ladies, the grass is not greener on the other side. If you have a good guy, take care of him. Take care of him. Trust me, there's nothing good out in these streets.
I mean, chat, you can be like, oh, she cheated and like blah, blah, blah. And oh, she took him for granted. But at least she's not making a TikTok saying how awful all men are. Why did she divorce him? I actually think she said that they divorced, that he divorced her.
Seriously,
I'm not sure. It doesn't say.
He set the bar, and ultimately, what I always wanted, I had all along. So we have good right in front of us, and we don't know how to take care of it.
Wow!
Damn.
Y'all heard it straight
This
from
gotta
the
be
horse's
fake,
mouth,
chat.
straight from the divorcee's mouth. This man was waking her up with massages, putting her to
That's unreal to me.
The chat says it's AI. Maybe they're right. I, for one, am not so black-pilled as to believe that women aren't capable of figuring this out for themselves, inevitably. So I'm on the optimistic side of things here on when it comes to this particular video. Guaranteed, I guarantee you, that her ex-husband, will not treat the next woman in his life the same way that he treated her, ever again. How do I know this? Because I've personally been through it myself. Not necessarily with a married woman, but like married to a woman and treated her that well, but like with a woman in general. Like the way I treated the other women in my life was as caring and attentive as I could possibly be, while still managing to take care of myself and take care of my own needs. Because unfortunately, she wasn't the woman I was taking care of was not meeting me halfway. And I tell you now, I will never ever treat a woman the same way I did the last one again. I just won't. And I used to be into pickup artistry. Like I didn't actually go to the clubs and like do dumb shit, but like I was studying, like I was really interested in like female psychology and learning about how they think, why they think, and what they respond to, right? And so that's what I was doing. Like I wasn't necessarily proactively going out and doing anything like cringy, but I was like reading material and looking at material and like just learning. And one of the things that stuck with me that I read, I was like, oh, if a woman asks you why you don't do X thing for her, it's like the going response is like, oh, sorry, but the woman before you ruined it for you. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. The woman before you ruined it for you. Sorry, but collectively as a species, you females, you need to act better. If you want better treatment, you should treat men better. Like that's just how it is. And I don't care. Like maybe I'll find a woman who treats me so well that it'll re-invoke those feelings in me where I will start reciprocating or what have you, and be not reciprocate, but be inspired to treat her even better than the way I treated the last one. But I don't foresee that happening. Hopefully I'm mistaken. Who knows what the future holds, right? We only we're not God. We can't see time in a cyclical fashion. We can only see it in a straight line. But yeah. Anyway, that's that one. Let's go back to the other one.
Women are interesting. At the end of the day, we're all kind of like in this place in history maybe where we're recognizing what it is to ultimately deconstruct all these gender roles and ultimately be human. And
well, there we go. I mean, apparently being human isn't being a part of a family where everyone looks after each other in this circle of reciprocity. Instead, it's about deconstructing everything. And she literally just says it. It's about destroying things. It's about destroying the family. It's about destroying men. And these people back in the day perceived it, especially this lady. You know, no, it's bad for his ego. Yeah, no, she doesn't want to deconstruct men. She doesn't want to harm the people around her. She's not like this person.
that's exciting to me. So, you know, I'll just continue to kind of do my work and try and deconstruct all of these like limiting narratives about ultimately what it means to be human.
Mental, isn't it? It's absolutely mental. But this has just been a pure project of destruction the whole time. And most people back in the day perceived it that way and weren't in favor of it. But they lost because this is how things always go. What the public actually wants is not what they actually get, obviously, over and over and over. And we've seen this in just every field of politics at this point. Like, there's just, I mean, the only thing has been
as an example for him, I'm sure it's coming to his mind. Like, you vote for a political party to deport people that are coming in illegally, and yet the party just lets more in instead. I'm sure that's frustrating for them. I'm glad that's not happening here currently, because Trump actually is an honest man who says, oh, I want to deport people, and he's deporting people. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing what you fucking said you were going to do, unlike every other politician before you.
We hadn't even got that properly. Like, we just don't ever get what we want in the system, and it's people like her at the top of it who are just like, yeah, no, I'm going to do this whatever ideological deconstructive bullshit that's in my mind. I don't care about actually governing in the way that people want to be governed. And this is where we are now, where gender relations are all-time low, men can't get dates, women are just ruined. Like, it's just terrible. And basically, I'm completely against all of it at this point. Like, I'm totally for, like, ultra-traditional relationships. And every ultra-traditional relationship I see is very, very happy. Like, the man and the woman are very happy in this relationship. And I know a bunch of people, I'm not just talking about myself, although me and my wife are very happy with the way things are. Like, it's not just, like I say, I see this in other people, and I'm just like, right, okay, everyone just seems far, far happier and far more relaxed with the world. And then you've got, hey, why don't we just destroy it all? It's like, no thanks. Anyway, come and join us at the live event 11th of April. It's going to be great fun, and I'll see you there.
All right, so that's the video. I really love Sargon. Like I said, watching for quite some time. It's been about 15, 16 years. He's amazing. It's through him that I've learned a lot about British politics and being more interested in the geopolitical situation across the world. Like, subscribe, and follow me on these platforms. And remember to think critically.